It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Tell me what I gotta do to make you understand me.
Dancing on these niggas like I'm Pit Marty. Little man from a small town for the pull up in a big body. Meal plus on Bugatti. This fight fixed like yo got it. Got royalties, got lawyer fees, because on fees for the rent money. I'm God. In this industry, I'm doing 6 jobs. Think they just pulling deals like Rich Paul. Learn the business on my own.
Beautiful people, it's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. In this video, we're gonna be coming back to the Drake and Steak Rico. All right. Now, of course, we ran that story yesterday. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Appreciate y'all, especially those of y'all that come and actually sit down and go through the paperwork with us on this channel. I know a lot of people shoot off the hip and stuff like that, but we want to get to the allegations. We want to get to the factual allegations, as they call it. I can't say get to the facts because I don't know what did or didn't happen or what will happen in the future, but we can get to the black and white, what's on paper, what's being alleged, and keep track of what's going on in the docket moving forward. If there's any progress made, if it actually makes it to a judge, it's made it to a judge already. But if it makes it past the judge to a trial, which is what they're asking for, that whole situation, right? Now, being that we did go through the paperwork, Chick Smooth, who, he breaks a lot of stories. He's like one of the first people to report on things. Sometimes he doesn't report accurately. Sometimes he has weird takes. But nonetheless, he actually got in to do an interview with this gentleman by the name of, Daniel Wallach? Yes, as a matter of fact, it is Daniel Wallach. I know him on social media as Wallach Legal. All of these previous Steak lawsuits that are coming out against him, against Drake, that is, Drake, Steak, Adin Ross, all of that different type of stuff. He's been the one that's kind of broken those stories because he actually works very intimately in the so-called gaming industry as an attorney. So he is a sports betting and gaming attorney, right? I'm guessing he's a defense attorney in that, to protect people when they get sued, but I don't know that. I'm just thinking if he's in that industry and he's working as a so-called gaming attorney, he's probably working in the favor of the bettors, right? Or the people creating the platforms for the bettors, I should say more specifically. So he actually did a sit down with Chig Smooth to go over this lawsuit, what he sees happening in the lawsuit. Will this make it to court? All of that different type of stuff. Of course, he can't determine any of this either. He can only look at it from his professional purview and give his take based on his experience, what he's seen, what he believes to be typical in the courtroom or from a judge's perspective. But he cannot say what will or won't happen. So I want to just preface that and always take that into consideration from anyone, whether it be a legal professional or not. Doesn't mean that we have blanket autonomy over like, oh, just because somebody knows something or has been through it, they know. All right. But I'm going to play a clip of their interview, about 4 minutes or so, of what he thinks will ultimately happen. Because he thinks that a lot of these things tend to get swatted. They either get dismissed by the judge or they either get dismissed from some money, private settlements and stuff like that to stop it from going to a jury, right? So we'll see what happens, but let me go ahead and pull this clip up and you can go on Chig Smooth's page to see the entire conversation. I think they spoke for nearly 30 minutes or more. So again, I'm only playing a portion. And I do want to salute Chig Smooth for getting to Daniel Wallach for the interview. You know what I'm saying? That actually showed a bit of I ain't gonna say journalistic skill, but definitely showed some good intuition to like tackle the subject immediately with the person who broke the story. That was very smart of you to do. All right, let's get to it.
I'm surprised that there were no gambling causes of action asserted, and that the plaintiffs led with the most difficult theory imaginable, which is racketeering, RICO cause of action, which really makes their job infinitely more difficult. I have to emphasize this is a civil lawsuit. It's not a governmental lawsuit. It's not a criminal prosecution. And many civil lawsuits are filed against sweepstakes companies, and they rarely go anywhere. They either get dismissed early on in the proceedings because the terms of service with the website require mandatory arbitration to resolve any and all customer disputes. And if it ever gets past an arbitration defense, these lawyers who represent the plaintiffs are not in this for justice. They're in this to collect a nice, big, fat contingent fee.
Paycheck. Yeah.
And before it ever gets too far, companies like Stake and the representatives for Drake and for Adin Ross and George Nguyen would probably write a check and cover the damages and pay the lawyers $5 million, $10 million, or $20 million just to go away, with Stake footing the entirety of that bill. So this likely will never ever land at the doorstep of Drake, other than having his name publicized in the case. Very few.
So that's interesting. He's saying that he believes that Stake is going to foot the bill to get this thing silenced, basically, before it even gets to Drake, other than the papers being served and the media. He feels like Stake is going to put up millions of dollars to get these people to go away. I wonder how many millions they sitting on. You know what I mean? Especially if they allegedly paying Drake $100 million a year to represent the company. What type of bread are they bringing in from these people? God damn, I am so grateful. But anyway, I find that to be very interesting. I also find it very interesting he pronounced that man name George Nguyen. Like, I saw a couple of y'all in the comments saying it's pronounced Nguyen. I don't know if it's Nguyen or Gwen. All right, ask him. But Nguyen was crazy. Anyway, let's get back to it. All right, he says he feels like this shit is just gonna get paid the fuck off and be dust.
In the history of online gaming, in online gaming litigation, only one single solitary time has a case like this gone to a jury. And it was a $25 million verdict against High Five Games in Washington State Federal Court roughly 2 years ago. And that's out of hundreds of lawsuits filed against social casinos, sweepstakes casinos, and all other types of illegal, illicit gambling websites. And the reason why so few of them end up in a payday is because they either get dismissed because the terms of service mandate the use of arbitration instead of litigation, or alternatively, there's Mr. Green comes along and writes a check and makes the plaintiffs go away. Paragraph 1. I mean, right out of the gate, in every lawsuit, the goal of the plaintiff's lawyers is to grab the judges by the lapel. You want to start strong. You want to establish your theme, and right out of the gate, this is a consumer class action to stop Stake, an illegal online gambling platform promoted by Drake to obscure transmissions of money in furtherance of their ongoing music botting campaigns from continuing to prey on customers and impose civil penalties on all defendants. So right out of the gate, you're hearing two separate distinct themes. That Stake is operating and promoting an illegal gambling website, which Drake is benefiting from and promoting himself, and Stake is being allegedly utilized by Drake and others to promote an artificial streaming campaign to artificially boost the number of plays on Spotify.
Interesting.
So you have the illegal gambling part and the illegal or the artificial streaming component, the bots and the engagement farming, which I don't know, that may not necessarily violate a specific gambling law, but it certainly violates the terms of service of Spotify. And Spotify is already a defendant in a lawsuit brought by a rapper. I think it's RBX. Is there a rapper by the name of RBX? If I messed up the.
And remember, RBX is the one who came to the people and said that Drake was botting, what was it, 300 million streams or something like that, specifically. And he said that he had people do the forensic research on that. Remember, we just talked about that a couple months ago. So it's interesting that we get that, and then we get this stake lawsuit doubling down on the botting, but also saying that stake money is being used in crypto transfers to Australia to the chat guy to clean the money and send off to the bots, right? I also think it's very interesting that before all this bot talk came about, right, people were trying to say, oh, it was all this stuff going on in Turkey. Oh, Universal and all the labels and Kendrick Lamar, they're paying people out in Turkey. Then RBX lawsuit come out and he say, well, based on my research, the motherfuckers that's getting the work done out in Turkey is Drake. And RBX ain't got no ties to none of this shit. He just trying to get his motherfucking payouts because he feel like he's being undervalued, underpaid from Spotify. He's just using Drake as an example of why smaller artists ain't getting paid, because he's one of the biggest artists in the game, allegedly botting. So he already gets more market share based on his popularity and his stake in the major label system at Universal. But then if you're botting on top of that, that means that you're also making fraudulent money, which adds to your income or the income of your label, who then pays you out of whatever you're owed if you get that money. So all of this shit is crazy. It ain't crazy, but it's crazy that it's all coming out, especially after this man was out here accusing people of botting, and then that shit came right around.
The letters, well, somebody, a well-known rapper, has sued Spotify for not policing, the artificial streaming and the use of bots to artificially inflate the number of downloads. And that kind of practice harms other artists, because if someone like Drake has an artificially high number of downloads that's not based on any legitimate, authentic, fan support, it comes at the expense of other artists who are going to recover fewer amount of royalties, because royalties are presumably paid on percentage of overall number of downloads. And if one artist has a higher number and grabs a bigger piece of the pie, that operates to the detriment to all the other artists. So that's a separate lawsuit. That's presently pending in California federal court. This is somewhat related to that, but it has the gambling.
Right. Because they're saying that Drake is taking this money from the gambling, from the illegal or fraudulent stake.us practices, right? Because the whole thing is that stake.us is operating in the US as a social casino, not dealing with real money, real stakes, real losses for the participants. But people are coming out and they're saying, hey, but the real money on here is not the gold coins, it's the state cash, which has a 1-to-1 value with the US dollar. So it is basically real money, real wins, real losses. And it's hard to recover your money when you win, right? We went through one of the lawsuits where they said people that were winning their money had to actually jump through hoops to even redeem the state cash that they were looking for, because it's like, yo, I got state cash. This shit supposed to be 1-to-1 with the dollar. I'm trying to make a fucking withdrawal and get my bread, and I ain't never received it. So there's also that element too. And then again, they're alleging that the money from this, the proceeds from this, are being paid to Drake. Drake is throwing some money at Adin Ross. He's giving gifts out to Adin Ross. You know what I'm saying? $200,000 cars. Just gave Ben the Don one as well about a week ago. You know what I'm saying? They're getting on, they're doing link ups online, hanging out, stake betting. And again, Drake is highly offended when people say that he's playing with fake money. He's come out numerous times and tried to push back against that, even though he's actually been on stream saying that Eddie needed to clear more money for them to use on stake and shit like that. So they're muddying the waters. They have young viewers. Y'all know, man. Adin Ross, come on, man. People that are older than him, around his age, more mature, not tuning into that shit. Niggas that want to be like Drake, not mature people, regardless of their age. So they're making stupid decisions, and they got to be accountable for their stupid decisions, like I always say. But he's heavily participating in this. You know what I mean? Just as heavily as he's putting out whack music, he's also heavily promoting stake every single turn. Every time you look up, he's doing something with stake, for stake, promoting stake. Like, it is a part of his daily wake up. Like, how can I benefit this company who's paying me all this money and get them, make sure that they're happy? Right? Then you have George Nguyen, who is, of course, the one who runs Akademiks TV, No Spin TV, as I call it. He's heavily affiliated with the DJ That Don't Spin. He's heavily affiliated with Drake. His Instagram got hacked last year. Drake personally saw to it that his account was recovered on IG. And they're claiming that they're funneling money over to him. Because again, stake.us is not supposed to be bringing in any money. For real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're bringing in money because people are using real money to pay for the gold coins, but you're not supposed to be winning actual money from it. You know what I mean? So they're basically alleging that there's money laundering and all type of crazy shit going on to uphold this criminal enterprise. Will it be proven in court? I don't know. Again, Mr. Daniel here, he believes that before it ever reaches a courtroom, it'll either be dismissed by the judge due to the terms and conditions being airtight on stake.us, or if push comes to shove, stake will start throwing money at this situation to make it go away. Okay? And remember, there's multiple of these lawsuits out there. There's multiple of them now, including both Drake and Stake. There's multiple out there also including Drake, Adin Ross, and Stake. We'll just have to stay tuned and see where they go, because some people can't be bought. And I would like to see what happens when people actually fight, even though they may not have the same financial resources to really go at it. But we'll see. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. Once again, if you want to see the full conversation of this gaming lawyer who is, again, well-versed with what goes on in that industry, you will have to go on Chig Smooth's channel and check it out. I'll see y'all later. All right. Much love and respect, y'all. Peace.
Yeah. Family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I'll turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy cause consulting for the stacks I built. I